Record to this. Okay. To download them, you're going to click on download. You're going to, if you want to keep them as a PNG, that's fine, or you can change them to a JPEG simply by clicking down here for JPEG. I suggest PNG. It's just my preference. And then you can increase the size a little bit if you want. And you would do that just by moving the slide over. And then in order to pick the page that you want to download, you just click on that page. So if you want to download it one at a time, then just check the one that you want to download, click done, and then download. If you want to download all of them at one time, you're just going to click download. You're just going to click download, and then you're just going to select all the pages that you want to download. Okay. Or you can just select them by clicking next to the page number. Everybody good there? Any questions there? Nothing? Okay. I'm just going to mute you. Okay. So we're going to go over to KVCore now. And we're going to go into marketing. That's where you're going to find your campaigns, your smart campaigns for email. And it's where you're going to find your newsletter. So go down to marketing, over to smart campaigns. So if you're following along, go into your KVCore. On the left-hand side, you're going to see marketing, which is your 5th item down. You're going to just put your mouse over it and you're going to get the smart campaigns off to the right. And then you're just going to click smart campaigns. From here, you're going to go to templates. So you have my campaigns, KVCore library, and templates. Okay, everybody see that? So you're going to click on templates. And in the search, you're going to type in newsletter. Now you can type in news or newsletter. Either of them will bring up your newsletter. Okay. Once you have the option for newsletter up here, hopefully everybody has that option. Anybody does not have that option under template name? Okay, I'm assuming everybody has that option. All right, and so you're gonna click on clone. And you're gonna change the template name to whatever you want your newsletter to be. So I'll just do Agent Angle on mine. You can name it whatever you want. And then the subject line can be weekly newsletter. Or you can say in the know newsletter or something like that.
I have a question. So you have to clone each template when you want to use it?
Yes, you do.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And that's KVCore. Anytime you're going to use a template, just clone it. Mm-hmm. and then rename it. Okay. So I'm going to just clone the template. So after I change the template name, I'm just going to click clone template. And hopefully it does it right away. There we go. So it saved successfully. Okay. And if you named your template differently, then go back into templates and bring up newsletter and see if it's in that list of newsletters. If it isn't in there, then let me know. Everybody good? Okay. I'm assuming everybody is good. All right. Okay, so once you have, once you see your template in the list, you're going to click Edit. And this is where we're going to come in and start editing our newsletter. Okay. So under, I get rid of this agent header usually whenever I do my items. So I'm just going to click on this very top thing that says agent header. And when I do that, when I have it selected, it's got a blue box around it. You should also see just below that to the right, two icons. One is a trash can and one looks like a double paper. Just click the trash can to get rid of that and then click delete. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add in our header image here that we want for the very top thing of our header. Okay, so if you created a header in Canva that was, the name of your newsletter, so mine was the Agent's Angle, that's going to be my very first header. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. So I click on the image content placeholder. That's what that is a placeholder. And I'm going to click upload. And I'm going to click over here on downloads. And I'm going to click on my copy of header. Okay. Once it's in my library here, I'm going to click on insert. Okay. And here is my header for my newsletter. Did everybody try that? You guys are awful quiet tonight. All right. Moving right along. All right. So if you wanted to add maybe your picture in there besides this one, what you can do is you can come into this content tab. So you have content, rows, and settings. And you can click on image and you can come over here to the right. Actually, let's do it below for right now. Let's click it below here. And what we're going to do is we're going to change this row out. And we're going to put in a row that has two content placeholders. Okay. One is going to be this image placeholder right here for our picture. And the other one's going to be our header. Okay. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to upload my picture. I don't think I have one in here. The other way you can do this is doing it in Canva. So put your header and then a picture right next to it in Canva, and then just upload it as one header. Let me upload my picture really quick if I have one. Is that a picture? That's a GIF. Give me just a minute to see if I have a picture in here. It's a GIF. I was having fun with GIFs yesterday, trying to create some GIFs in Canva. Just trying to find a picture. There we go. We'll just use this one, even though this isn't a great one. Okay. So just pretend it was a really great picture of me. Okay. And then we're going to go insert and we're going to put that into this picture placeholder right here. Okay. Now, if we wanted to change the size of this picture, we can click on it and then we can slide it over. So this auto width slide rail, we can slide it over to make it smaller. Okay. And then and then it will be the same size as your header. All right. Any questions there? Come on, give me some questions. I want questions. Give me questions. No, everybody's doing good. Everybody's fine. All right. I want to see your newsletter at the end of this. Okay. All right. Okay. So moving right along. We're getting down now to where we can put text in. Before we do that, what I'd like to show you is where you can go and get some text. Okay, where you can actually get content. Okay, if you have not looked at Keeping Current Matters, I suggest you go over to Keeping Current Matters. And looking at Keeping Current Matters, you have a bunch of content here that they give you for free. Okay, go in and use it, and you can put it in your newsletters. Okay.
May I make a suggestion?
Yes, ma'am.
So of course, I know a lot of lenders because they all want us to send our buyers to them. And they use this service and they use it verbatim. And when it comes, some new thing comes out, I get 6 of the same newsletters from 6 different people because I just copied and paste. So I would, and that makes me not appreciate them. So I would suggest just add in a little bit of your own stuff to personalize it so it looks different from everybody else's. That's just my opinion.
I do agree with that. I do agree with that. So you want to sprinkle in, like Beth Ellen said, you want to sprinkle in your information in there, like your thoughts. So you can change it up in here and maybe add some things in here. The other spot that you can go is called Breakthrough Broker. And I think through EXP, we have that ability to use Breakthrough Broker. But Breakthrough Broker also has content that you can utilize. So feel free to come in here and look at their content. Now, you guys, there's content all over the place in terms of real estate. You can go to the realtor.com website and look at content. You can just go to your MLS and pull up market data and put market data in that top portion. You can just Google real estate questions, right? And see what type of questions are out there that people are asking. So there's just a lot of different things that you can do to find content or to use content, okay? And I think most of us, yeah, the Market Center as well, they have some stuff in there. But I mean, I think a lot of us have been in the business at least a couple years. I don't know what everybody's, no, Tina, how many years?
7 months.
7 months. You're almost a year, You're almost there.
Yep.
Well, but have you done any transactions?
I am closing on my first listing Friday, and then I have another listing that I just listed 2 days ago.
Woohoo! Way to go! Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, but you can talk about the selling of a home, what has happened or transpired during the selling of a home, right? So you can educate people about that process, right?
Definitely. I've gotten educated on a few things already.
Right. So you could talk about a little bit about title, very little bit. I mean, depending on how much you know. You could talk about the mortgage process for the buyer. You could talk about what it takes to list, right? So what does the seller have to do to get their home ready? You could talk about how long the process is. So there's just so much that you could talk about, right? And it doesn't have to be this long, long thing. It can be a couple paragraphs, and then you put a picture in there, and maybe you put a stat in there. For listing a home, maybe you put the neighborhood stat in there, something like that. So, but for right now, I'm just going to go in and show you how you can use the KCM content. because you want to make it as simple as possible. So if you're in a hurry and you can't come up with anything, or you're not, you're having a busy week and you can't come up with anything, you can definitely use something from KCM, or maybe you just use a portion of it from KCM. Okay. I hate when websites do this. Okay, I can't get out of it. There we go. Let me log in real quick. And you don't have to have a paid subscription to get this content. Come on. There we go. All right. But if you wanted to, you could pay the $25 per month and get their content every day or every week. Okay. All right. So here's, let's do this one. That's just an infographic. I don't want the infographic. I want, let's do blog posts. So surprising shift favors homeowners. Buyers now prefer existing homes. Okay. So in order to put this into your newsletter, okay, we're going to go back to KVCore for a second. You need to make sure that you have a text box. And then you also need to make sure that you have an image box, because you're going to put an image in there as well. In order to put your content boxes in your newsletter, you just come over to content and you click on the content box that you want. So if it's image, you just click, hold, and drag it over. And then when it says drag it here, it's going to go below where it says drag it here. Okay. And then you just drop it. So if you wanted text, you just click, hold, and drag it over, drag it here, drop it, and then it's below where it said drag it here. Everybody good with that? Okay. So going back to KCM, we're going to save the content here, the images. So all you have to do is click Save Image As. And you can rename it if you want. So you can say KCM1 or something.
We should
Okay.
talk about the Google naming convention here.
Google naming convention. What do you mean? What do you mean, Beth Ellen?
When you rename the pictures, you add in all your SEO. So I would
Yes.
add my name, EXP Realty, the markets I use, which is Henderson and Las Vegas, and then my Google My Business title. And I'd add it all to the name after you named what it was, so you could find it. And that way Google searches, if there's an EXP Realty Las Vegas, I'm going to come up because it's in the picture description, and nobody sees it but you and Google.
Right. So what she's saying is when you come in here to name this, okay, just name it EXP Realty. And then whatever your name is, so mine is Sheila Cohoon, or whatever your business name is that you always use. And then I'm just going to do KCM1. But you could do your market. So if I do like Macomb, yeah, I'll just do Macomb and go like that. Okay, that saves it with that file name and those are like keywords when Google's looking through stuff. Okay, so that's what that part is.
The first part though is I always put what the picture is, because the back part's always going to be the same, so you'll never be able to find the picture. So this would be market stats 2021 second quarter, and then all that stuff. So when you're searching for it, you can find it, because the other stuff is just for Google and they don't care about the order.
Okay. Well, I always name mine like the same so I can find, like if I'm using things for pictures for my Google stuff, I will name them the same so that I can run through them, but have that difference at the end. But so in order to use this inside of our newsletter, we need to save all these images. So I'm going to save this other image. Okay. And I'm going to name it EXP Realty. And I'm going to just name it KCM2. Save. Okay. So the very first part of it is the header. So this surprise shift favors homeowners. So we're going to copy this. Okay. So just highlight it, right mouse click and copy. Come back over to KVCore. And then in your header up here, you're going to paste in. So Control V or Command V if you're on a Mac. Okay. And it'll drop in that header. Now here's where you can modify the size, the color, the font type, things like that for your header, okay? If you want it left justified, if you want it centered, that type of thing, okay? So we're just gonna increase the font size and we're gonna make it, actually, I'm gonna go back this way. And I'm gonna make it centered and I'm gonna decrease the font just a bit. All right, let's try 16. All right, perfect. 16 it is. All right, and I'm going to keep mine Arial, but you may have a font that you prefer for your newsletters. I don't believe that there's any certain font that's better than another when you're doing newsletter. The only thing that I would say is make it a very legible font so people aren't going, you know, like this and trying to figure out the words. Okay, you want it very, very legible. And you also want a font, this is super important. You also want a font that most computers will recognize, okay? Generally like Arial, Helvetica, Tahoma, Verdana, like those are your normal font types that usually every software or every piece of computer has, any Windows or Mac will have, okay? So that's a really big one because if you don't have that, like if you're like for me, I have one Goldano is the name of it, and that's not a normal font that's on somebody's computer. So when it comes across to somebody, it's gonna pick the most closest font to it. So your text might look totally screwed up when they get that newsletter. Okay. Any questions? I'm gonna pause there for a minute just to. Any questions so far? Man, you guys engage me today. All right, so let's go back to KCM. So we have our header now, and let's just change the color of it. We're gonna do that by highlighting the whole text, and then we're gonna come over here down to the bottom, and we're gonna hover over this A, and it's the text color. So we're gonna click the down arrow, and we're gonna pick the color by this little palette, okay? So in here, we can pick the color simply by changing the palette. Okay. And then click save. Okay. Good. Everybody good there. All right. We're going to go back to KCM. And the next thing you'll notice is there's a picture in between the header and then the following text. Okay. We're going to come back to KCM or back to our newsletter, and we're going to put an image content box placeholder. Okay, so all of these things are placeholders. It's a text placeholder, an image placeholder, divider placeholder, things like that. So we're going to put an image placeholder here. Oops, I'm sorry, we wanted it below the header. So we're going to put it there. And then we're going to upload our image of the house. So we're going to click on that picture of the house and we're going to upload it in there. And just because I know we're going to need the other image as well, we're going to upload that other image. Now you could do them at the same time if you want. I'm just showing you to upload both of them. All right. So the one that we want up top is the house. So we're going to click insert. And we see that the house is inserted there right below the header. Now, we're going to take the text in KCM. So we're going to go back to KCM and we're going to grab this text. Actually, yeah, we're going to grab this text right here. And we're just going to highlight it, copy, come back over here, highlight the text in the text box and paste. Any questions there? Nothing? Okay, all right. So you'll notice in KCM that this right here, when I hover over it, it's a hyperlink, okay? When you copy that and you put it into the newsletter, it copies that hyperlink as well, okay? So if you click on the hyperlink, this is where it goes. So it copies that hyperlink, which is actually kind of nice because then you don't have to worry about that part, right? It's already there. So we're going to come back over here and we're going to get this 60%, okay? We're going to copy that part. We're going to come back over here and we're going to put a new text box in and we're going to paste. Okay. Now we're going to come back over to KCM. Now you're probably going, well, Sheila, how come you didn't just go like this and copy the whole thing like that? Okay. If I did, it would have picked up this portion right here differently and it would have put it in, I believe, as like an image. It would have moved it over like that. And I just didn't want it that way. So I can show you how it will put it in because I did that before and I was like, when I was doing the newsletter and I'm like, oh, I didn't want that. So that's how I know that it will do that. So go back here to copy, come back in here and paste. Okay, made a liar out of me, but it did that for me before is it looked just like this and it made it like an image. So try it out and see what happens to you. You may get that same thing. Okay, this is why I taught it this way because I had an issue with it. So anyways, moving right along, we're gonna click this next header and we're gonna put that in just like we did at the top. So we're gonna put another text box in up here, down here, and we're gonna make another header, okay? You can change the color of it just by clicking the text box again. And then here is the color that you chose before. Okay. Now you may want to make this a bit bigger. So I'm going to make it 16 again. All right. And then I'm going to go back over to KCM and continue getting my content. So does everybody understand this part? Because I'm going to just finish up here in a second. I'm going to drop that in there. Now you notice I didn't put a new text box in. I just copy and pasted it into the same one. Okay. If you want to make it a little bit more, have a little bit more space between the lines, highlight the box and come over here to line height and just click the second one and it gives it more space. Okay. You can also have more space between the letters just by coming here where it says letter spacing and putting more space between your letters. I don't recommend it in your text area. I would do something like that for like a header, okay? Just to add some character to it, okay? All right, any questions there? All right, I'm just gonna add in this one last image to show you, and we're gonna click on here, browse. We're gonna click on inserting our image, and then we're gonna go to we're going to go into getting some hyperlinks. Okay. All right. So in my newsletter, at the bottom of my newsletter, actually, I'll show you really quick my newsletter. Do I have it on here? Don't judge me with all my open tabs, you guys. All right. So this is my weekly newsletter that I have in my CRM. The CRM is different, but the way the newsletter is in this CRM is almost identical to KVCore's. Okay. But I wanted to show you down at the bottom of my newsletter is where I have hyperlinks to squeeze pages. Okay. And this is where you can have open house lists and just listed things and price reduced and homes with pools or homes for horses or, you know, homes that have acres. You can do all of those type of lists in your newsletter, and you do it one time in creating your newsletter and you never have to do them again. Okay. The hyperlink will be, will update every time the person goes into it. Okay. Everybody understand that? Okay. I hope you understand. We're going to go back over to KVCore and we're just going to click on update. Actually, no, what we'll do is we'll add in our next row header. So I'm going to come back over to content here and I'm going to put in an image. Okay. And I'm going to put in, let me go back to Canva and download my, oops, that's not what I want. I'm going to download my, let's do price reduced header. So that is page 6, and I'm going to move you guys over a bit. And page 6. And I'm going to download that. So as that's downloading, any questions? Any questions? Come on, you guys, just one question.
I have one.
Oh, yes.
Yay. I missed that part when you added your picture on the header. How did you do that?
Okay. I'll show you how to do that. Yeah, because I kind of screwed up there a little bit. Just let me download this for
No
some
worries if
reason.
it's later, but I do want to ask.
Let me get this downloaded. For some reason it failed. Who hasn't used, besides Renee, who hasn't used Canva here? Okay. So everybody's pretty much an expert in Canva? Oh, come on. Y'all are experts.
I created my own signs and business cards in there.
Good for you. I did too. It's such a great tool. Let me get out of here real quick. All right. I gotta get bear with me while I get Canva up again. New tab.
How long are your newsletters? I mean, is there a?
It's not very long. Did you see it just a little while ago?
Yeah, I was just wondering with all the stuff and then down at the bottom, I guess they can go. So the newsletter itself is a small context that you get from whatever you're wanting to say. And then the rest is information like what you're doing right now, price reduction, things like that.
Yeah, so when I go into my newsletter here, this is my whole newsletter. So I have, this is what I got from KCM. Okay, so this is the top portion, or just my content that I want to talk about. Okay, related to real estate, always related to real estate. Okay. Down below that, I put in here, what's your home worth? Okay, this is just a static image, and a link that will take them to what's my home worth on your website. Okay. And that's there all the time. That doesn't change. Okay. Because the biggest thing about newsletters is you don't want to have to sit there and reinvent the wheel every week, right? You want to make it as simple as possible where you create the foundation of it, but then you go in and just simply change a few areas, which would only take at most 30 minutes possibly, right? So this is an area that I don't touch at all. Okay. This header is not one that I touch at all. This is always in my newsletter. Ask me how to get a free Frosty for a year. Okay. My recipe of the month is going to change every month. Okay. So you could do recipe of the month, or you can do, restaurant of the month, and talk about a certain restaurant in your newsletter.
Do you pull your
Anything.
recipes from a site, and is it okay to use somebody else's content?
You're not supposed to use other people's content because it's plagiarism, but I feel like recipes out there are, there for people's
Right.
use.
Right.
I don't
Okay.
think it'll matter. And
I write cookbooks, and so here is actually what happens is you can use somebody's recipe if you give them credit.
Got it.
Because they actually are copyrighted.
Right.
Or you can change one ingredient and then it's yours.
Got it.
So if you want any cookbooks, I'll be happy to sell you one of mine.
All right. So there's your answer. But like I said, I mean, everybody's shares content out there. And so you're not selling this. You're not selling any of this information. So I don't think it harms anybody, but do what Beth Ellen says. She knows best. She's the content creator lady. So the next part is these real estate links, and these links are the same every week. I don't change them. I don't create a new squeeze page. I don't do anything. They're just consistently the same every week. So I don't change this part either. And then this education part is just a video I drop in there, and it's a different video every week. But all I'm doing is dropping in a different video. Okay. So, and then these two things are my buyer and seller guide from KCM. Now you can create your own buyer and seller guide and drop those in there. Okay. And they can hyperlink to a Dropbox or to Google Drive or something like that. Okay. And then here's the bottom of my newsletter, and it just has my information in it. Okay. So I'm showing you, there's 1, 2, 3 spots where you're going to change every week. And I'm telling you, it won't take you more than 30 minutes. It will not.
The links that you have down at the bottom
Mhm.
that don't ever change, the auto update, how do you create those in KVCore? Is that?
Yes. So Macomb County right here has a hyperlink to a squeeze page. Okay. So this is the squeeze page. So if I click on this and put this in here.
Sheila, did they create that squeeze page, or is that something you built?
That's something that I built as a squeeze page.
Got it?
Okay. And I'll show you how to do that in just a minute.
Okay.
Okay. So these are all the homes in Macomb County, open houses. Okay. So this link, the link that I just copied, but if they clicked on that button, it would take them here. Okay. And then if they clicked on view more details, it would then prompt them to register on my site. Okay. If they weren't already in there.
How effective is that? Do people, I mean, how many registrations, say, a week do you get?
I don't get any registrations right now because I'm using my other one, and I haven't been consistent in getting a newsletter out. So
Yeah,
I would
that's
say I get probably a registration every couple of weeks.
Is there a way to track feedback on other than registrations? Is there a way to track like how effective your newsletter is?
I think you would look at the open of your newsletter. So when you go into the contact, did they open the newsletter and what did they click on? Okay. So that's how you could tell. I don't know that there's a reporting in KVCore to show the open of a certain newsletter. Okay. But if people are opening your newsletter, then I would reach out to them. Okay. Let me go back here then. So let's go back to KVCore so I can show you where to get, oh, I wanted to go to Canvas. So I wanted to get this. Hang on a second, you guys. Wanted to get my header. Now, the reason that I suggest doing a newsletter is just to stay in front of people. And so if you're going to want to do things to stay top of mind, 1, do a market report from KVCore, 2, set them up on a search on KVCore, and 3, do a newsletter. Okay. If you're not going to do 2, do 1, do a market report. Okay. If you're not going to, if they're a buyer, maybe just do your search. Okay. So do something, but you want them getting stuff every week. Okay. Let me download this real quick.
If you're doing all 3 of those things, would you do each of those every week or at least just one of them a week?
I would do, like, if I were doing a market report, I would do a market report like every 28 days. So like once a month, and then I would do a newsletter every week.
Sheila, I don't know how many BombBomb people can use from EXP. I've been with BombBomb 10 years and I had my own account before they did their deal with EXP. So I kept my own account. And I do my newsletters as videos in BombBomb because they allow you to do that. Can you, I would mix and match them because some people like to read and some people like the video, but how many people, if you only get 5, then you sure don't want it for a newsletter, but do you know if you can do newsletters through the BombBomb EXP thing in KVCore?
I don't know because I don't use that. I'm like you, I use the other version. I use the regular version of BombBomb and I don't use it in here. But I would say, I mean, you could do just your YouTube videos. You know, you can just do your video on your phone, upload it to YouTube and drop it in here, you know, just the same, right? And not have to pay for BombBomb. So I'm all about the FREE or the least amount of money. So, but BombBomb is good. Video in general is good. If you can put video in your newsletter, that will get you more connected to your CRM than anything, because they're going to see your face, they're going to hear your voice, and they're going to hear your content, and you're going to give them value. You're not going to just sit there and go, oh, are you looking to buy or sell? You know what I mean? You're going to educate them by your videos. Okay. All right. So so we have this list in here, and then we are going to put some buttons, button or buttons, depending on where you are in the country. So let's go over here to rows. And what we're going to do is we're going to put 3 buttons, 3-button row. So this is our 3 placement holder row, and we're going to put it right underneath our header. Okay, this is our header for price reduced. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to put buttons in there. So we're going to drop the placeholder for button. There's 1 button. There's 2 button. Oh, no, I didn't want it like that. I wanted it inside. Okay, there's another button. And then we're going to do our third button there. Oops. Okay. There's our buttons. Okay. Now with our buttons, we can change the color of the button itself. I'm going to squeeze you guys down a little bit here. All right. So in order to do that, you just click on the content. And over here on the right, you're going to see background color. Now, what I did was I had the color from Canva, and I just used that color inside here by just changing out this hex code. Okay. But that, again, it's just taking time to do those things. And once you have it set up, it's done. So I would suggest you take that time to set your newsletter up. Okay. It may take, a couple hours to get it done, but get it done, because this is going to give value for weeks and weeks and months and years and forever. Okay. So you can change your button types depending on your header. Okay. So we'll just do this one like this. And we'll just do all these like this color. Okay. And then we're going to change the name out. So remember I had Macomb in here, and then we can say click here. Okay. And then we can say Oakland, click here. Okay. And the reason you want to say click here is that gives them a call to action. Okay. All right. So we have our buttons, we have our price reduced. Now we need to get our hyperlink for our buttons. Okay. Because that's what we're going to put in here under action. Okay. So let's go back over. We're going to update our template. Click update. Oh, that'd be a great idea. Isabel, I don't know if you guys can see, Isabel said she was going to ask her, what was it? Her, what did you say? The food blogger friends, if she can share their recipe on her newsletter. Such a great idea. Just think of different ways to engage with other people to entice them to look at your newsletter, right? And I mean, the more you share with everybody and you interact with people, the better. I think they'll want to promote your newsletter.
I was going to say, if she gives credit to their blog site, then that person that she gets the recipe from will also share her real estate business.
Exactly. Totally. All right. So we're going to come up to or down to lead engine. And we're going to come down to build squeeze page. All right. So we're going to do a multi-property squeeze page. Okay, because we want more than one property. And we're going to do based on my counties that I had. So I had Macomb County, Oakland County, and St. Clair County. So this is going to be Macomb. And this is going to be county right here, Macomb County. So you can do yours based on a city if you want, or an area or a neighborhood. It's up to you. Whatever it is that you want to do. Okay. The listing type is going to be single family and condos for me. Okay. So you can pick multiples when you're in here or just pick one. And then this one I think was price reduced. So we're going to come down here and we're going to, was it in this one or is it, I think it's in this one. There it is, reduced. So it's called reduced, not price reduced, reduced. Okay. So that's what I'm going to pick for my price reduced. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put a hashtag if I want. Now, if you've gone through the KVCore training, you'll learn what hashtags do very quickly. Hashtags are triggers for campaigns. Okay, that's all they are. So if you put a hashtag in here for your newsletter, for your price reduced in your newsletter, It could trigger a campaign to send out to people about, you know, looking at homes that are reduced. Okay, but hashtags are triggers. I'm not going to put one in here for right now. Come down here to property views, and you can either leave it at default or change it to something other than default. I always leave mine at default. I think 2 is good. 3 sometimes is a little bit better because it lets them go a little bit further, but I just always leave mine at 2. And what that means is they get to view 2 properties before KVCore makes them register. Okay, if you pick 3, they'd be able to look at 3, so on and so forth. Okay, and why you would pick never, you know, you wouldn't want to do that because you want them registering on your website, anybody that looks at your newsletter. Okay. Direct link. So the next thing we want to do under direct link and short link is generate our link. So we're going to click on generate link. And what that does is it gives us a short link and a long link. We are going to copy the short link. We are going to come back over to our, actually we got to go out of here. So before we go out of here, if this is your very first time learning how to do squeeze pages, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to want to create either a Google Sheet or an Excel sheet because you want to keep track of your squeeze pages. You want to have a reference for your squeeze pages because once we get out of here, we won't be able to get that link back again. So you want to create a Google Sheet or an Excel sheet that has that information. You can create a Word document or a Google Doc if you want. It's up to you. Just somewhere to store that link and also talk about what was in that link. So you can go here to Google and then you can go to Google Sheets. And this, if you've went through Sylvia Dana's class, she shows you how to do this. But this is where you would put the, you could put the link here. So you could say links and you could put the link in here. Okay. And this is going to be reduced. Okay. And then this is going to be Macomb. And we'd put our headers up here of what it is. Okay. But the biggest part is what it is. Okay. Macomb, condo, single family, and price reduced. And that's what this hyperlink is it takes me to multi-properties that are for price reduced. So I have this hyperlink now. I have it saved. I'm going to go back to KVCore and I'm going to get out of my squeeze page and I'm going to go back to my smart campaigns. Now, you could create all your squeeze pages all at once. And so that way you're not getting out of this and going in here. You're just going to go from Google Sheet to KVCore, Google Sheet to KVCore, Google Sheet to KVCore. Okay, just a little tip. We're going to go back into templates. We're going to go back into our newsletter. Whenever it wants to come up. Come on, come on. Any questions while we're waiting for KVCore to respond?
How come if you put the same stuff in on lead engine, like for the KVCore, what you just did, how come if you put Macomb, I didn't know that the links changed. You know what I mean? Like if you put that county with reduced sales and everything and generate the link, I didn't know that if I didn't save that link and I go back in there and I do the exact same thing, same stuff in there, it does a completely different link. Why is that?
I don't know. I don't.
You're the expert now.
I don't know. I really don't like, I mean, it just picks a different link. I wish I had the answer. I don't understand why that does it. I really don't.
I
So-
never knew that.
Yeah,
So-
in fact, if you have it up, so we'll go back in there in a minute and I'll show you. Let's go to newsletter. Oops, I want to go to templates. Oh, excuse me. Newsletter. I hope you guys are getting some value today. I hope I'm not boring the heck out of you guys. Okay, we're going to edit. At least you guys all look awake. At least you're not going. All right, so we're going to come down here to Macomb. Okay, and we're going to put in our squeeze page link right here. Okay, and you want this to say open web page. Okay, y'all good there? Everybody good there? All right.
No,
Now-
where did you go? Where did you go? I know you clicked on the button, but then that box over to the right opened up by itself to put that there.
Yeah, so anytime you come over here, anytime you click on anything, this over here to the right is the detail, the properties for that content button or that content header or the content image, okay? To the right is going to be the properties for whatever you've clicked on. Make sense? Okay. You can change the side of it and you can add borders to it. I'm not going to mess with that because that's just going to add more time on, but I would suggest you go in here and play with it to make the box bigger, to make it the whole length of here. You can go in and do stuff like that. Okay, just change the padding up. You can change the padding to be like the whole thing, like get rid of this or go like that. Actually, I want to do this one. I said I wasn't going to do it, but it's like I got to do it. I just got to do it. So that takes the padding around the box. But I want to show you how to do the there we go. So that would be the entire, oops. I want to do to the right and to the left. So I want to make the box look as big as possible. Okay, so you see that? Makes it look as big as possible. Okay, right and left. If you do the top and the bottom, then it's gonna put a space on the top and the bottom. Good, everybody good there? Rock and roll. Okay, so we put our link in. And so now when people click on that button in our newsletter, it's going to take them to our squeeze page. Okay, I'm going to click update template. And then we're going to come back to our lead engine and squeeze page. Now you can do a squeeze page for a single property squeeze page and put that in your newsletter too, and do like a highlight of, you know, a home in your newsletter every week, you know, like this really stunning home, you know. So everybody likes looking at homes. All right, so we're going to build a squeeze page. I like looking at homes. I like
I
looking
just
at
usually if you subscribe to Realtor.com, like every week they'll send you a newsletter and they'll feature like a celebrity home, like Jennifer Aniston's Malibu compound, or you know, somebody's Manhattan 18-room mansion, you know, for sale or whatever. So
What a good idea. And you could probably put that link right in your newsletter, right?
yeah,
That'd be
Yeah.
a great idea.
yeah, or you know, and Realtor, if you subscribe to, you know, Realtor.com, like weekly they send an email and it always highlights like the most expensive home ever listed in California is for sale for $300 million or something, you know. I mean, it's always like super headlines, you know, just really spectacular headline stuff. So
Yeah, that's super cool. All right, so I'm going to show you something in the squeeze page about these links. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create the Oakland one, and I'm going to do single family again, and I'm going to do condo. I'm almost done. I'll be out in about 10 minutes. Okay. And then I'm going to do reduced here. Okay. Now, if I click generate link here, okay, and I copy this link and I put it in my Google Sheet. All right, so just go like that for now. And then I come right back in here. I can come back in here and I can take this out and I can do St. Clair. Let's see if I might have to do St. Clair like this. St. Clair, there we go, county. Okay, so I need to do that. And I have the same reduced, you know, all that, okay? But I have to click generate link again to get a new link because I don't want that same link. That original link was for Oakland counties. So I click generate link. It gives me a new link. I copy that and then I paste it in here like that. So then this is Macomb, this is Oakland, and this is St. Clair.
Do you use the source? That's a good way to track your emails.
Yes, it was down here and I forgot about it. So
Yeah,
when you
that's good.
when you are doing your multi property squeeze pages, your source is where you would put where you're putting your link. So instead of Facebook or Google, you're putting it in your newsletter. So you just type in newsletter here. Okay. Because what happens when they click on the link for the squeeze page and they get added to your KVCore, it will put in their contact these criteria. So it would put, if you had a hashtag in here for like newsletter, you can do like newsletter. Okay.
I do that also for open houses. When you do that open house app and you bring your iPad or whatever to the open house when they sign in. And
Yep.
that way you have the address on there. And that way, even if they don't go on your website right then, when they do, you know, oh, they came to my open house and stuff.
Yep. Yep. You always want to have the source, and I apologize for missing that. Thanks for bringing it up, Melinda. You always want to have that source in there. And if you don't have the source in there, I always suggest putting a hashtag that references the source. Okay, either or. All right. So anytime you make changes, so we added this source up here. Anytime you make a change, you have to go back and click generate link. Okay, because if you don't, then it's not going to pick up the changes that you made. Okay, so then you just copy it and you come back over here to St. Clair and you're going to come over here, delete, and you're going to put the new one in there. All right. Any questions? Bye, Beth Ellen. Oh, Beth Ellen, before you leave, did you leave? Did you leave? I can't see you. Oh, did she leave already? Oh, she already left. She does a class on Thursdays called Content Creators. It's in the World in the Productivity Center. It's at 12 Eastern. It's called Content Creators. And then Jerome does a class at 2 o'clock Eastern called Social Media Mastermind. So if you guys ever want to go to those two things, go check them out. They're good. All right. Any questions on newsletters? I hope you guys learned some stuff tonight. I'm not going to keep you very long, but I would love if you have any questions. Oh, on Thursday, sorry about that. Thursdays, every Thursday, 12 Eastern for the content creators and 2 Eastern for social media mastermind.
Thank you.
Any questions? Nothing? All right. Well, if there's no questions, I guess everybody have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
a
you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you. I'm gonna
Thanks,
play with
Sheila.
it.
All right. Any questions though, you guys can reach out to me. You know where to find me.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.